having meeting with the clients and other consultants, and having the communication with them on the green features implementations and all those, and with the green building certification party, so that to liaising with the certification assessment and so on. Or you can be both, involving with both project focus and also be simulation focus, meaning you are one man for all. So coming to the energy consultant part, this is quite something quite new to EV student. We usually do evaluate and assess the potential energy savings for the buildings. For example, like for commercial building or office building, or like the mall or the industrial building. So as what we know is the aircon system in the office building or commercial building are usually the main energy consumption. So we do all this study or evaluation through energy audit. And from the result of the energy audit, we will do further research and study on the building design itself, and we will provide the energy consumption improvement solutions for the building owner. For example, we will do it through recommending a higher efficiency equipment, for example, higher efficiency chillers and pumps and system and so on. So this is the introduction to this role. Maybe in the next step, I think I will start with the challenges and the benefits to the role of being a green building and energy consultant. So the challenges, since today's audience is mostly from EV, so be focusing on that, is that this role is not exactly from EV background. For environmental engineer background, if anyone is not from EV. So for our background, we do not exactly train for the mechanical part of this, the energy part. So maybe I can show you some slides which will demonstrate the working environment for this role. It's just a few slides to demonstrate. So this is what, everyone can see my slide, right? Just a confirmation.
Yes, we can see.
Make it full screen.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so this is a very representative green buildings. This one is in Singapore, and this one is in Malaysia. So this is a typical chiller plant room. You will see chillers, you will see pumps, you will see all the pipings. So this is the working environment. And the cooling tower is part of the chiller plant system, and is usually located on the rooftop. So this is the building and management system, which is the system of the software we use to control and monitor the building energy system. Mainly is for the aircon system, but sometimes it involves the lighting and other mechanical fan and so on, other equipment as well. So this is the demonstrations of some of the working environment. So coming back to the challenges for this one, for this role, except from the, we are not exactly trained for this kind of role. So it involves a lot of on-site job, on-job training, and also study to be done, self-study. And because the challenges can be the green building consultant can be a very involve a very wide range of scope of expertise. We will have to study about structural design, the material properties, the aircon design, the lighting, even the lifts and the escalator and other features that is related to the green building scheme. And another challenge is that there are many different green building schemes that are available on the market right now, and it varies from country to country due to different climate and also different geographical differences. And I would say the attractions of this job is that it is a very diverse job scope. So in short, you will never get bored of it, because you are dealing with all sorts of different things. And it's a rather new industry compared to other engineering, for example, like the mechanical engineering. So it can be less competitive, but the double side of that is can be a limitation as well, because you might not have in you might not have a lot of opportunity in terms of vacancy or and so on. And the career path design for this role, you can go from a very wide role and narrow it down to a very specific role in terms of depending on you want to go for a project base, or you want to go for a simulation base, or you want to go for the sidetrack of it. Maybe, for example, like going to the smart building and other career path. I think Klingsman can share a little bit on that also later. So, but it also another benefit of that is that it's a helpful career if you are interested in your continuing your research or further study in building sustainability. So I think that is most of it, and I would say the last part I would like to mention to all of you is that the important skill set expected in this role or expected in this kind of working environment. The first thing first is what I mentioned just now, the self-learning ability. Because we are not actually trained from this kind of background, so a lot of Google, a lot of research paper or technical design, you will have to learn to read, learn to understand by yourself. And the second most important skill set is actually the problem-solving mindset. Okay, so I guess that's 8 minutes, and okay. So the second is the problem-solving mindset lah. So not stuck by the problem that you face, but you need to try and error and to solve the problem you face in this role. And also the third thing is the communication skill, because you will be involved a lot of communication with your client, with other consultant, especially in Malaysia, where other consultant might not be understanding the green features and all those green design, and you will be acting like an ambassador for the environment to speak up to achieve a better sustainability for the buildings. And you have to be very sensitive to the latest updates on your relevant scope, for example, those green building designs or the update of the schemes. And the last but not least is your time management skill and your productivity driven kind of mindset. So because usually for this role, you will be handling usually many projects in one hand. So it's very important on how you manage your own time and your productivity. So I guess that is all for my sharing. So if you have any question, you can speak up.
Okay, thank you, Hoi Siu-Young, for your sharing. I have one question in hand, which is, does the green building consultant advise the architect what to do in order for them to get the certification?
Yes, for part of that, I mentioned that the wide range of scope of expertise actually involve the structural design and the material use. So if you can see from the green building slide I shared just now, we do have sometimes to advise the architects on the building design. For example, the material use, the painting that to use, and the material involved. For example, like the concrete and what type of concrete, what type of material use. Yes, we do suggest not just the architect, but sometimes the CNS engineers and also the mechanical engineers as well.
Okay, so open the floor to the audience. Any questions from the audience who wanted to know more about the green building? If not, then we will try to discuss more about the green building initiative, since we have around 8 more minutes here. Okay, as we know that in Asia, it's quite a hot climate. So what is the most important design in terms of the green building? Because just now, as what you mentioned about most of the energy consumption is for cooling purposes, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
based on your
correct.
experience, how can we reduce the energy consumption and also the footprint of buildings in Malaysia and in Asia countries?
Okay, because usually that is a very important part because a building, once the building is built, usually is going to last for a really long time. So for the EV student, you can always remember when we try to design for the buildings is the safety factor is always about 100 years at least. So a building, once a building is built, is going to last at least for a few decades or maybe 100, more than 100 years. So if let's say the carbon footprint is going to last for this long, so and the most important part of being a green building, especially for country like Malaysia, is usually the ventilations and the cooling part. So we separate that into active design and passive design. So when we talk about passive design is on the building design itself. So what kind of glass material you use, because you can see a different, I think everyone has experienced that if you're using a different type of glass for your windows, you will have a different kind of feeling when during the mid of the days when the sun is very strong, the sunlight is very strong, and the weather is very hot. You will see the differences if you use sort of darker kind of glasses or you use transparent type of glass. And also the shading you use. These are the passive design that will to avoid the heat coming in from the building. The second part is the active design that we use, like for example, like aircon system and all those to mechanically drive out the heat so the building remain cool. So if a building is for the passive design is designed well, then for the active design part, we do not need so much energy to cool the building down so that the people in the building can get comfortable. So that is two part of it. So if the passive design well, the active design we can also play a big part in reducing energy consumption. So it's a side to side, it's a win-win thing that is not saying that which is most important.
Okay, thank you very much on your explanation. Any question from the audience still? Perhaps the juniors would like to know what is really like what is the difference between working in Malaysia and in Singapore? Because you have been working in Malaysia before, then you transit into Singapore. Yeah, so yeah, so maybe perhaps you can give us some insights so that our juniors here can choose their path.
Okay, I hope there is no Singaporean here. So if you do, then you just keep your ears shut lah. So of course for the job wise, as an engineer, is definitely there's no easy job. I don't think there's an easy job for any engineers. But the speed in Singapore is a lot faster. So compared to is solely based on my own experience. So the speed is a lot faster. They look for efficiency and productivity much more than it's required in Malaysia for my role. So and the perspective you have to really change. You can't say that, oh, this is not part of my job. In fact, my role now, except for doing project management, except for giving these solutions for energy and green buildings, I do help my company to do tendering, sales, and etc. So, and all these are come in the package lah. So that is the benefit of that is you are earning $. One is that, and the second thing is that it's not really. I think some juniors spoke to me before, on work-life balance lah. But I think you can try on that. But for this role, it's like a season thing. So in some times of the year you will be quite free. In some times of the year, you will be working maybe 20 hours a day or so on. Yeah, so it can be very different from Malaysia environment. Yeah.
Okay, the next question is how does you personally graduated from EV? How much of that knowledge that you have acquired actually help you in your job? Yeah.
I would say for my first job in G Energy, most of my colleagues are from different background. Some of them are from chemical engineering, some of them are from uh, from industrial engineering, some of them are from different engineering. But as an EV student, I do see the strength of us understanding the green features and our desire to achieve things, to do things right. And because it's sort of built in us, because for 4 years we are trained to understand things from an environmental friendly way. We can see the differences, and in one point we have a stronger understanding in why those features and in why those designs have to be changed or have to be modified in that way, so that the building can be environmental friendly, or we can improve the sustainability in that. If this is a job, if you don't believe in improving the sustainability, if you don't believe in the carbon footprint, it makes no sense to you. You are just doing a job. But if you do believe that you are playing a very important part in reducing carbon footprint, improving sustainability, you will find your fun in this job, because you know what you're working for every day.
Okay, thank you so much. We can hear that you are very passionate on your job, and hope that you can continue to contribute, yeah, as part of the many millions on this earth to make this earth a better place. Okay, so any more questions from the audience or from the speakers? Just one more question. Yeah.
I would like to agree with Siu Yong. Super agree. When you are in environmental engineer, you don't say that you get that job alone. Let's say you handle wastewater, you have to, like for me, I have to learn about chicken. But for me, it's like chicken is not my job, it's the veterinarian's job. But you have to learn. So this is part and parcel.
Later we'll know more about Gen I's job already.
Yes. Stay tuned. Coming soon.
Something like this one, I super agree with Siu Yong. No such thing as having one job only normally.
Okay, any more questions? If not, then we will move to the next speaker. Okay, thank you, Suyong, for your sharing. Really appreciate for your time and effort. Thank you very much. So let's welcome the next speaker, which is Klingsman. Yeah, he will be talking about his role as a solar energy sales assistant manager in his company. Yeah, let's welcome Klingsman.
Yeah, thanks, Jeffrey. Hi guys. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. So I basically graduated in 2016. Of course, one of your juniors or seniors lah, depends who is it. So basically, I graduated that time. I actually worked for G Energy. Suyong was working with me at the time. So we were together under G Energy, learning about green buildings and stuff. So basically, we have been working together for 2 years, and I moved on to St. Aidan, which I'm working for now. St. Aidan Sdn Bhd, which also is a subsidiary of St. Aidan Group Bhd, which is a listed company. So basically, we'll share my slides just a bit to let you guys know what is St. Aidan doing, okay, and what is my role. So give me a second. Can you guys see my slide?
Yes, we can see. No
okay,
issue.
So basically, I'm working at St. Aidan Sdn Bhd as an assistant sales manager. So I would say that nothing is easy. As just for you to know that actually myself being sales is not really my so-called something that I wanted or I foresee that I'll be working in it for the past. I think even when I started working, I never even imagined myself being in the sales side, because I never thought I could be in a sales actually. So of course, when things come about, despite I say I don't like sales, but when things come in, you have to just accept it, because it's either you don't have to do it or else you're going to give up and nothing much, and then you have to find another new job. So basically, I work for this as an assistant sales manager for about almost 1 year plus already, since last year. So basically, what does Maiden do? Actually, basically focusing on two main things: renewable energy and environmental. So under renewable energy, basically, of course, there are a lot more hydro and geothermal and stuff, but of course, Maiden is ourselves focusing on mainly on biomass, solar, and biogas. And environmental, we are focusing more on environmental assessment, waste management, and green building services, which is quite similar to what my previous company or what Suyong is working at. So as for my side personally, I'm focusing more on solar. Okay, so our company business, in terms of the biggest contribution, I would say is more on renewable energy, because of the easier to get the business is actually more on solar, literally, because as you all know that nowadays solar in Malaysia is actually a very hot topic. Eventually, I would say almost anyone wants solar, we can actually supply, because as small as your house, you also can install solar. And the benefits of actually installing solar is actually mainly on the product itself. Is actually really cheap as compared to 5 years ago. And a lot of people can actually afford it. And I would say really thanks to our government in a way, because of without the government giving out schemes, or incentives, people tend to have this reluctance to actually do it. And when we talk about this, we talk about supply and demand, right? So when there's no demand, how do you have a good supply and lower down the cost? So let me move slightly further into details. Okay, I focus on renewable and solar, so I'm going to go details on that. Okay, so basically there's two main things, rooftop solar and solar farm. Rooftop solar, we have two schemes. One is net energy metering, which actually that was the government in one of the second plan. The first plan was called feed-in tariff, which is no longer under here, because for solar, feed-in tariff is no longer there. Feed-in tariff was actually started long time ago, whereby the priority is actually to create this awareness among the publics, knowing about what is solar. But at that point of time, solar was like 5 times more expensive than now. So how to attract people at that point of time? So they create this scheme called feed-in tariff. So the feed-in tariff is actually mainly that you install the solar, whatever you generated, you will 100% sell to the distribution license fee, which of course in Peninsula we call it as TNB. So at that point of time, the rate was relatively good. It's around 1 ringgit plus, like around 1 ringgit and 40 cents per kilowatt hour. You can see back your bill, your residential bill, how much it costs per kilowatt hour. The highest 58 cents, I believe. So that's where you can see the attraction. So because when people are doing all this solar, they are looking at ROI. How fast can I return? If my thing is so expensive, I just installed it. I take 10 to 20 years to actually get my returns. Why do I need to install, right? So of course, with this better rate of selling to TNB, and on top of that, for commercial side and industrial side, when they install solar, they also have this incentive to actually help them to further reduce their cost, because they actually reduce the profit tax on them. So that further reduce their ROI. So that's when the FIT got attracted by a lot of players. I mean, a lot of our markets to actually go into it. Then subsequently, because of the quota already finished already, so they changed to net energy metering. So the word net energy metering means the net. So whatever that I supply now is no longer selling to TNB, but it's actually to reduce the dependency on TNB. So for example, if I generate 1 kilowatt hour of energy, I will actually use up the solar energy. Then whatever that is not sufficient, I will get from TNB. So in that case, you can already know that I already reduced the amount of energy importing from TNB. So as such, I actually reduce my consumption. And second thing of all is that, for example, if like during the weekdays, a lot of people are not working, not at home, or weekends, the commercial side are not working. So that when there's an extra energy generated, they actually can sell back up to TNB. All right. So in that case, you can actually further reduce your and at the end of the month, you actually can further reduce contra whatever that was imported from TNB. So first, you reduce your dependency on TNB. Second, when you export, you can actually further reduce your whole bill. So in whole, you actually help to save a lot. Your ROI will be much shorter. So I would say for residential, it's actually around 7 to 8 years. Of course, the smaller capacity, the longer the ROI because of the cost, right? So the second thing is self-consumption. As the word itself states, it's self-consumption. There's no selling out. So this is mainly for like shopping malls. They're basically 7 days a week, so they're not required to actually sell out, right? Then the other one is solar farm, which is large scale solar, which is that's been tendering. Now it's actually LSS4 last year. So this is more to larger scales. We're talking about acres of lands, to actually build a solar farm to actually sell to TMB, but the rate is actually way lower than even on your rooftop solar rate. So it's actually, but in terms of commercial wise, it actually can pay back probably 10 years plus, because the signing of contract is for 21 years. So this is for more for companies that wanted to have a recurring income. So that would be good for them. All right. So these are some of the samples of rooftop solars that we have, like as Samaden, we have commercial and industrial. So we have rooftop solar and some of the examples. Okay. Of course, we also do for residentials as well. So all in all, these are some of the things that our company does. Okay, that's where what we actually do. For me personally, as a assistant sales, is to actually get more the customers to actually to believe in this product, to believe that this can actually help them. But I would say with the government help that they promoted is very strongly for the past few years, a lot of people start to trust in this, and that's why the demand is higher nowadays, especially within these few years. So you can see that even despite during this pandemic, solar is still doing well. Because, like for example, the solar farm, one of our clients actually did a solar farm in Penang. So during that period of time, they're actually selling the energy back to TMB. So they actually have income during the pandemic and during the MCO. So that's where you can see that solar does help a lot, right? So in that case, as a sales, that's where I need to be actually firm to know what is my product is, so that I can actually convince them. But of course, first you have to convince yourself. Without convincing yourself, how do you convince the others? So that is why a sales is very important to be good in convincing people, I would say. Yeah, so basically that would be a very general introduction about overall things of my company and myself.
Okay, there is one hand being raised by Tai Junyan. Tai Junyan, can you unmute yourself and ask the question if you have any question? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you. Yes.
First of all, Happy Chinese New Year.
Happy Chinese New Year.
Yeah, Happy Chinese New Year.
Happy Chinese New Year.
Yeah, I just try one by one the buttons, and then suddenly I press this hi. I thought I want to say hi to everybody. Sorry, I did.
Hello, hi.
Because I just come in here. I just enter the chat room.
Right. No worries.
Yeah.
If you got any question, can ask also, no problem.
Yeah. So, do you want to install solar panels on the student hostel?
Yeah. I can introduce to you. Come to Samaden.
No.
I save on your operation cost.
Yeah. Of course, I talk to my boss. So you
okay.
Wait for my quotation.
Okay, call me. Okay, call me.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Tai. Okay. Yes, Klingsman. Since you are working as a sales personnel in your solar product, what is the most important attitude or skill set that you must have in order for you to thrive and survive in your industry?
One thing I learned, I think not even as a sales, one thing that I learned a lot is that don't afraid of learning new things. For me being in this Samaden, because at Samaden, just for your information, for everyone's information, it's actually started off with very small company. When I came in, was probably 7 to 8 people. So you can imagine that there's a lot of setup that's not been done. There's a lot of things that haven't been properly laid out. So I'm there to actually learn more things, because as you know, our eventually EV doesn't learn much on solar. Eventually, we only know about solar, but how does it work? What does it do? What are the things? For me, I can say almost zero. So that's why I would say willing to learn. I talk to my technical, I talk to my project just to understand how does this work. So because when I joined, I wasn't as assistant. To be honest, not even under sales. I was actually an assistant to my director to update them, update her the things happening around, what are the progress and everything. So with that means I need to learn more, because what can I communicate to her? Like, what are the things happening, right? If you don't know, I don't know sure what happened, I don't know what. That's very bad, right? So that's why I have to force myself to learn more. So that's a very good attitude that actually everyone should have, actually, to be honest, to learn more. Don't be afraid, because learning more, people can see you differently, because you say that you really know what you are talking about. And second thing is, be open, I would say, to say that, don't say that, oh, this is not my job, that I don't do. Sometimes if you got a bit of time, you can actually do it, because once you do it, you can actually get more familiarized with it. So I guess that will be two things lah. And then the third thing will be convincing level, because I think not only being a sales, but being engineer have to be convincing. Or how people trust you, you're engineer, right? You're designing stuff, so we have to be convincing, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have one question by Chong Monkey. Chong Monkey, can you unmute yourself and ask the question? Yep.
Hello, Lexman, I'm Monkey.
Hi.
I have maybe a few questions. Because as you presented, means that your company is mainly to do the solar panel. Is this, the PV solar panel?
Okay, for our company, are services. We are focusing on services only. So meaning we are more to a company that focusing on EPCC. Probably this one I missed out, is EPC stand for engineering, procurement, construction, and commissioning. Some people call a contractor. Easy to say, means we design and build the overall system services. But as for the products, we source it from others.
Oh, okay. Then, in your opinion, in Malaysia, which kind of solar system is most popular, or most the people will use it or adopt it?
Solar system, as in, you mean like rooftop or ground mount, or?
For example, right, the solar system we have is like a PV panel, central receive system, and other type of the like solar furnace. In Malaysia, in this situation, which kind of solar system is the most popular?
Currently, I would say definitely is those. Currently, as of now, is mostly on the string type of those rooftop solar system, the solar farm. These are the two quite commonly and quite widely implemented in Malaysia. If you were asking that kind of question, like type of solar system, because as of now, there are a lot of types of solar system. Some is called hybrid system, with batteries and stuff. But as of now, it's just the most famous one is solely only on solar PV system, whereby on rooftop, definitely, if you want to ask, is like there are two types of inverter. One is called central, one is string. So definitely string inverters are the commonly used, I would say. Central are usually for large scale solar. If I answer your questions.
Yes, thank you.
You have another one?
Okay. Oh yeah. There is a participant, Mr. Safi. Please unmute yourself to ask the question. Thank you.
Hello, hi. Good afternoon, and happy
afternoon.
I'm Safi.
Thank you.
I'm friends of Jeff during my master's program. So he invited me to join in, and I'm interested in knowing, Mr. Kinsman. I'm interested in knowing, just now you said that you are offering services as a contractor, and then you procure the solar panel from other suppliers. Yeah.
All right.
Let's see if I wanted to implement it in my company, and then we wish to hire the services of your respected company.
Okay.
Where do I find you?
Basically, of course, now knowing me, then of course you can talk to me. But in general sense, you can actually search us in the Google. We are there, Samadan Chandra Bahat. You can actually, because we will actually can find us through even Facebook. Okay, so because our people as for myself also, we will actually brief you guys about what's happening now, like what are the schemes, and then how do we size your systems, things like that. So we'll give you more detailed consultancy on that for free, for the early stage for free. Yep.
Okay, good. And then because I received the email from Jeff saying I have your emails here, can I email you later on?
That's my personal email. Probably I'll liaise with Jeffrey later to send you our company email.
Yeah, that will be better. I'll give to Jeffrey also my company email. All right.
Sure.
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Safi. There is another question from Tai Jun. Yes, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Hi. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just interested to know whether are there any existing solar projects or what that is being kind of used in the wastewater treatment industry, because I'm looking in these projects.
I think I don't mind disclosing slightly. There's one, I guess everyone knows IWK, right? So they did open tender, okay? They did open tender, but haven't really formalized yet lah. So it's just recently thing. So it actually it's doable, you know, because what solar need is flat surface. It's the best lah. Flat surface is the best. So as long as you have areas that is especially unused, then it will be great, because we don't actually, solar is best to install on roof, so you don't waste extra space. Because roof basically is for your just for shading and preventing whatever weather. So basically, yeah, can be done for wastewater.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep, sure.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps anyone else? One more question before we move to the next speaker. Or if no, then maybe I should pose another question. Is that what do you see as a EVian that joining this solar company? What is the future career prospect like after you joining solar? Then what is your next move?
Actually, to be honest, for me being in this company is actually to grow with the company, and to actually let people know the real benefits of it. Because being myself as the customer to my own company, because my house also installs solar, so I know the benefits of it. And why not sharing the good things to the public, right? It's just that, of course, it's the cost wise will be the biggest impact. Other than that, I would say it's actually really a good prospect for a lot of our juniors, because solar in Malaysia, especially, we are at this equator, you know, so it's really good for solar. In terms of the sun hour per day is really longer than others. So I would say that for juniors or even some of the seniors that are interested to go into this actually can consider, because it will be quite still a long way to go, I would say, in Malaysia, because Malaysia, as compared to a lot of countries like Vietnam or Indonesia or even Singapore, we are a bit backwards in terms of we still got a lot of things to implement. We still got a lot of the place to actually to install solar. As you can see from Google Map, you just open the Google Map, open the street view or whatever, you can see the roof is still empty a lot of places. So you can see your prospect there lah. And people are really interested. I can say even during this pandemic itself, it attracted a lot of people, because people are looking at reducing the operating costs. So this is one of the best way, I would say, because putting on your roof is just extra shade, for example, to reduce slightly on your temperature from the sun, but basically it's nothing much. It won't utilize any other space. So it will be good for our our juniors or seniors to actually join solar. Just that you have to really understand the whole process lah, you know, really don't because of your EV you say that, oh, I don't know electrical, I don't. You can see that a lot of nowadays people don't just only work as what they studied, they do more than that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Klinsmann. Thank you for your sharing, and your insights on your career. Okay, now let's move on to Lim Jun Hong. Lim Jun Hong, are you ready?
Hi, Jeff.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yes, so proceed with your sharing session and introduce yourself and also your career.
yes, thanks.
Okay,
Jeff.
the floor is yours.
So, hi, everyone. I'm Lim Jun Hong. I will be introducing a little bit about myself. I graduated from EV in UTAR on 2017. And shortly after, I joined my current company, PW Eco Biotech. That's why I am sharing some work experience and also some of my past experience to all the participants. So I will be showing a slide. Can everyone see it?
Yes, your slide is here. We can see it.
Okay.
Can see.
Thanks. So I will introduce a little bit about my company. So I currently work in PW Eco Biotech, which is a turnkey contractor or technology provider for the palm oil mill industry. That means we're providing a one-stop solution for all the waste generated from the palm oil mill, including all the solid waste, the effluent, and also the exhaust gas. So for our company, we do have multiple core business, including the ESP, biogas plant, tertiary plant, and also composting plant. So I think today I will be more focused on sharing my role and also my experience on this industry instead of all the technical part, because me myself as a project engineer in PW Eco, I mainly focus on all the biogas project and also tendering of biogas project and also for polishing plant. That means actually we are more on the project management instead of more technical role. So I will be sharing some of the photo of site so that all the participants or our junior can have a more insight and clearer picture of what the working in palm oil mill or palm oil sector will be. So basically some of the project that we have done previously, some ESP for the boiler exhaust gas to reduce the ppm to below 100 ppm, because there is a new regulation that need to be met by all the palm oil mill set by MPOB. Then of course biogas plant, I believe most of our juniors know about what biogas plant is to capture the biogas generated during the effluent treatment plant. So this will be a construction, during construction. That means the earthwork is in progress. And also this is during construction with a different system. So the plant will be located in the middle of a plantation. Then of course, this is another system or another plant that we have done in Indonesia. Then of course, a polishing plant to treat the effluent to below 20 BOD, depends on state of course, but we mainly focus on Sabah Sarawak project because the regulation itself is differ from state to state. Then of course another project and the surrounding of our working environment, and of course a composting plant to compost, to change the EFD produced or generated after the oil extraction process into organic or biological fertilizer. So basically that's some of our site working conditions, and also some of the introduction of what my company is doing. So for my role itself, I am a project engineer in charge of biogas project and some tendering work. Of course, like what mentioned by previous speaker, I personally do also in charge of some other scope like recruiting or some renovation work of the company. So my takeaway from my current role as a project engineer, because we are in charge of the whole project from the starting until the end of the project. That means even before the project is awarded to us, we will need to participate in the tendering stage. That means we have to go and purchase the tendering document and prepare our system or design, a rough design of our system to submit to our client or consultant appointed by client. Then from there on, we will attend all the interview, commercial-wise, technical-wise. Then if we got the job, we've been awarded, then of course we will be proceeding with the EPCC stage. That means the engineering, procurement, construction, commissioning that mentioned by Kingsman. So first of all, we will need to design or engineering calculation for a system that suits to the requirement of the client. But of course, in PW, we do have our own consultant and also PE, professional engineers to assist us in the designing or come up with the plan. Then after all the designing is firm up, it is finalized, and client is okay with our design, the land area is calculated, all those, then of course we will proceed to the procurement. That means we will be sourcing equipment, some instrument, of course all kind of system, software from our supplier. And after comparison and maybe some fine tuning, then we will be awarding all the PO to our supplier. Then of course at the same time we will also be looking for local contractor for all the earthwork, civil, mechanical, electrical, or even some control work, and awarding all those work to our contractor. So after that, the construction stage. When the construction stage started, of course, we as an engineer, we do have to travel to site, either to sort out any issue or to meeting with client, attend a site meeting, or just purely go there and have a look at the site. So we will need to travel. For myself, it's mainly once or twice every month. So because we do have some site personnel at site to help us sort out some minor issue, so we do not need to fly to there so frequently. Then after all the construction is done, we will of course proceed with testing and also commissioning of the plant. That means running the plant in full capacity to get all the performance that we promised in the tendering stage. So after the performance is guaranteed, we will hand over the site to our client. So at the same time, we will also be dealing with all the authority, such as DOSH, DOE, to get all the approval or any permission from them to start the work, because it's all related to their discharge limit and also the environmental regulation. So for my past experience, personal view of a palm oil sector or working in the palm oil industry, we will need some skill, because at site, the client or the contractor, the worker at site will be different with whatever or whoever you meet instead in the city or any high-rise construction site. Their mentality and also mindset, I believe, will be different. And of course, traveling is necessary, especially because my company is more focused on West Malaysia market, which means Sabah and Sarawak. So traveling is very frequent and necessary, and traveling won't be easy because of the road condition, and also even some site they don't have signal or whatever. That's why it will increase the difficulty of our job, and we are more focused on how to solve issue and also manage all the people, because on the technical side, we do have consultant and also PE to assist us in all the designing. But on the management, project management, time management, and how do you deal with all the contractor client at site, it will be more difficult lah. That's why to be in this role, in this industry, I believe very strong interpersonal skill, communication skill, and also you need a very high EQ during when you talk with them. That's why there's some important skill that you need to have. So that's all for my sharing. So is there any question from the audience?
Okay, yeah. Is there any question? You guys can raise your hand and ask through the microphone. If not, I will temporarily ask the question. Oh yes, Mr. Tai. Oh, you pressed wrong again. Okay, yeah, maybe Mr. Tai just pressed wrong. Okay, yeah, Junho. Since you're working in the palm oil mill industry, so what is the career opportunity like working in such palm oil mill based biogas position? What is the strength of it? If you, I mean, if you're joining in this kind of industry, what is the main strength?
Okay, first of all, I believe to be work in the palm oil sector, of course we are working. That's why I believe the package or the benefit will be better, because we will be traveling a lot of job scope. There's more to the reality. Then, of course, beside that, because palm oil sector is more towards more stable sector, because palm oil is necessary and it's a necessity in our life, used in everyday product. That's why palm oil industry will be exist for a long time, and that's why the future prospect of the industry is there. And even because nowadays a lot of the public is more aware to the environmental issue. That's why currently MPOB is applying a lot of new regulation and also environmental law, so that all the palm oil industry will need to be comply with it. That's why there's a lot of project going on in this few years due to all the regulation. And in future, I believe with more higher environmental awareness of the public, that's why they will be booming and there will be more to come.
Okay, thank you. Since me myself, I am also doing kind of a biogas project, but it's dealing with the food waste. So yeah, I just wanted to ask in a more technical sense, what is the most challenging part in terms of producing a stable and good biogas, based on your experience?
Okay. So if you are working in a food and processing sector, I believe mentality and mindset, as mentioned, won't be an issue, because all the operator at palm oil sector, it will be a little bit more difficult to handle as compared with all the operator or the worker at the food processing industry. That's why as compared, of course, the management and also the communication with the site operator will be one of the major factors. Then beside that, I believe it will be more on to control the condition for bacteria to grow, because biological process is all based on the bacteria, and to create a more suitable, better environment for them to survive on, to live on, and create more biogas, pH and temperature will be a very important factor. That's why it is to control and create the suitable environment for the bacteria to grow and prosper.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, is there any questions from the audience or from the speaker ourselves? Oh yes, Tai Junyan, you can unmute yourself to ask a question.
Hi, Junhong.
Hi, long time no see.
Well done, your presentation.
Thanks.
Wonderful presentation. You good, you travel a lot, travel to Sabah and then Indonesia.
Yeah, true.
Oh, do you still have this kind of travel trips to overseas during MCO? I mean, how your company deal with because you guys need to travel a lot, right? Travel to the sites. Yeah. So how do your company deal with this kind of travels during MCO? Because employees are not allowed to go overseas or cross the border.
Employees are allowed to cross border during certain period, of course not during the previous MCO period. So we will need to get a approval letter from police or employee, then and also do all the swab tests. My last travel would be in November to Sabah. So during that time, it's more towards a CMCO stage. That's why we are allowed to travel with the approval letter, and of course with swab test. So more, of course, we will need to comply with all the regulation by government. But personally, we also need to do all the safety precautions, wearing mask, face shield, or whatever safety equipment that you can find. Because I believe on the airplane it will be packed, because the flight frequency will be lower. So yes, we are allowed to travel, and I do travel multiple times last year. And yes, I'm still negative so far.
Okay. because I'm not in this industry, I'm not in the industry, so I want to know how is there any pay rise increment in terms of, you know, I mean, in terms of salary, is there any increment since like last time we graduate and we I mean work as a fresh grade? Is there any increments in this, like this 2020 years?
Of course, there's an increment. I mean, during this, you mean during this pandemic lah? You mean during this pandemic?
No, compared to our time when we graduate, that time 2017, and then after 4 years past already, 4-5 years past already, is there any increments?
Yes, there is definitely increment, of course, or else I think I won't be here anymore lah. So of course the increment.
Lot of bonus or those during a trip, they give you a lot of incentive, right?
Instead, it was affected by pandemic. I believe most of the company was affected. That's why yes, there's increment or benefit, but of course it was reduced and affected. But overall, it's still good because the industry is still moving on. And the site is still, the construction stage is still going on.
So our juniors no need to be worried to involve in this industry in the future.
Yeah, so far no need to be worried about.
No need to be worried about money Good future.
You need to be worried about money. That's why you are working, right? So I believe Hong Feng has another question.
Yes, Kong Hong Feng. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, Lim. I just want to ask, as a project engineer, is there any hands-on involved during the project commencement or after you handed over the project?
During the project commencement or the commissioning stage, I believe more hands-on will be on the T&C stage, the testing and commissioning stage, because during the commencement or the construction, of course, it was done by all the contractor, so we won't be hands-on. But during the commissioning and also testing, we will need to, because we are the one who work out with the design of the plant. That's why we will need to be hands-on. That means to operate. Of course, we do have operator and also worker at site. We won't be over there tightening a bolt or replacing any filter or changing any belt because we do have worker at site. So it depends on how you define hands-on. If we are there to operate, click a few buttons, yes, we are there. But to do all the physical work, so far I do not did that unless maybe they couldn't do it or they don't know how to do it, then of course I will do it myself.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, seems like we don't have the time left. So right now I will pass to Klingsman to become the next moderator for the next section. Yeah, Klingsman, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Juhong. So basically, next speaker will be Jen Ai. So probably you can introduce yourself and also your company that you're working in now.
So hi, for me, I'm actually working in a chicken processing and also a farmhouse. So let me just share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, right now we can. Yeah.
So just to brief a bit about me. So actually, I'm an environmental engineer in Ding Ding's poultry processing. So I think among all other speakers, I'm a bit unique in the sense because you work in a company that is not primary for environmental. So you work with a lot of people, and these are normally for chicken production. So you are just actually the person who facilitate and help support. So you are not the main lah. So you can also enter this kind of career. So in the sense of when we enter this career, of course, they require you to be a BEM graduate engineer. So for all, still studying, make sure that before you graduate, you have to get this BEM graduate, because this is what normally companies will see. And second, we have this environmental professional by DOE. So in DOE, we have a few environmental professional. So one of the things that I took was in schedule waste management. And also at the same time, I also took my master's and my bachelor's of engineering in UTAR. So the job scope, mainly what I do is this four: design, operation, and maintenance of wastewater treatment plant, farmhouse environmental optimization project, schedule waste management, and of course the documents and audits. So before I go for my job role, I would like to show what my company is. So as you can see, my company is actually part under Malayan Flour Mill, and under Malayan Flour Mill there is this poultry. So you have the feed mill until the baby chick, until you become those chicken that is old enough to be slaughtered. So we do produce further products like sausage, burger, or under Ayam Ding Ding, Ayam Fiesta, Jimat, and Deli House. And at the same time, even though you you are an environmental engineer, you are capable to be working in a HR best company to work in Asia. Okay, so there is no limitation here. You can work in small company, or you can also work in big companies like mine. So I'll show you what it's how's the video like in my company and how technology has advanced for chicken processing plant. So as you can see here, our line speed here is almost, we can slaughter up to 270,000 chicken per day. So everything is automated now, and this is we call an iris system. They actually took picture of the chicken to see any deformities and whether we can go through it as a product. Okay, so this is how this processing plant work, and of course all the waters being used to clean the chicken and all will enter inside our wastewater, my wastewater plant. And at the same time, I also work in the farmhouse. Why do I need to work in the farmhouse? It's because as environmental engineer, you need to know where your product is from. So they also exposed me to work in the farmhouse. So as you can see nowadays, chicken farmhouse is very advanced. No more like outside at the field, or it's closed house system. Why must it be closed house system? Because the temperature, the humidity, and also the ammonia level is in the farmhouse. They can control it well. And you see, as all these baby chicks, when they are all this we call as scratching. So they do all these things. So we also monitor whether they are living healthy and up to their attainable weight at this part. So my company actually is quite high tech in the sense because there's a big company. So okay, let me talk about wastewater treatment plant. So I'm in charge of all three, which is the design, the operation, and also the maintenance. So in our EV, what we learn is only the design. We don't learn much about operation, or we don't learn much about maintenance. So if let's say you will want to enter inside wastewater line, I would much prefer you learn a bit about operation and maintenance, especially on mechanical side, pumps, bearing, shaft, coupling, all this you need to learn before you go in. If not, when you go in, you learn, it will take some time. So for example, this design, I work with the Dutch technology, Marel, and in operation, I work 24 hours operation. So I have to work in shift sometime. And in maintenance, we do predictive and preventive maintenance. As you can see here, we have this infrared. So we have to learn how to read this infrared to ensure that the bearing is working correctly, and also to have spare part management. So this is common in wastewater treatment plant operation and maintenance. Second, I will show you my farmhouse project. So this is a farmhouse project I just do to test the environmental condition for chicken comfort. So it doesn't mean that environmental engineer, you only go for wastewater. Sometimes your company need your hand to help in other projects like environmental projects. Okay, so I just let you see how does the DOC. DOC is day old chick. That means they were born on that day and they came into our farmhouse. So this is the video that I took. So around 27,000 of them will enter to this house. So this is how they will come in at the start, and you have to check their health, their comfort level, and all this. And at the same time, we also test on optimization of the ventilation fan. As you can see, this ventilation fan, we have to make sure that the ventilation fan is optimized so that the chicken don't feel too hot or too cold. If it's too hot, what they do is they will start panting, and they will not gain factor, to be frank, or they are cold, right, they will actually shiver and they will also be skinny in the end. So you need a bit fat chicken at a certain age. And at the same time, for me, I also do for schedule waste management. So schedule waste management is a very simple idea. It's just about toxic waste. So to be frank, every company that you work in will have schedule waste. So this schedule waste, you need to do all these steps from step 1 until step 8 normally. And another thing is that normally we have to do documents and audits. This is compulsory for every environmental engineer that is working in manufacturing line. So what we do is, because in DOE, they require you to submit something to them to make sure that you are in compliance. So you have online environmental report, which is for wastewater, e-switch, and electronic schedule waste information system, which is for schedule waste. And at the same time, we have customer audits. Customer audits because just a fun fact, my company actually supply 80% of McDonald's chickens. So 80% of the McDonald's chicken you eat is from my factory. And because McDonald's chickens have a very stringent, a very strict standard, so they do not want any pollution to wastewater, to air and noise to fulfill their sustainability goal. So you have to keep track with all these audits. So as you can see this picture, this was a picture that's taken by DOE. So sometimes DOE will just come to your company and will check. So at the same time, right, before I would like to end my slide, the challenges in wastewater, actually, there are a lot, especially when, for me, when I entered, my boss actually told me, I don't see the difference between you and environmental science. It's because we don't learn about pumps, learn about bearing. We don't learn about design, loading, all this. So for me, if you really want to enter wastewater, you have to learn all this. And another thing is you have to be adaptable. Means, for example, like entering in a farmhouse, we have to bathe, I think, 2 times to enter farmhouse due to biosecurity reason. So you cannot say, I don't want to bathe, I can go in only, not, cannot. Or I don't want to change, because every time when we enter these places where it's food and beverage, you need to be very clean. Especially for all these baby chicks, you need to be very clean because sometimes you may bring, avian flu like H1N1 like that to them and you kill the whole flock. So you can't do that in our sense. So you have to be very adaptable and also open to work in what kind of field. Like you can see, I'm quite diverse in my. So this is how you can actually strive to be environmental engineer in an operation line. So I think that's all from me. So I'd like to say thank you for listening to my slide.
Thanks, Janai. Very interesting. Quite, I would say, relatively different from the three speakers before this. So, anyone have any questions? Yeah, we have one. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Can you mute your microphone?
Hello, hi,
yeah.
Hi. It's me, Safi again. Actually, I'm from Altify Food Industries in Berhad. I'm one of the directors there under Business Development and Sustainable Planning and Corporate Relations. We are also have 2 subsidiary companies. One is a poultry slaughterhouse, but we do not have a farmhouse.
Yep.
And another one is manufacturing industry where we manufacture burger patty for premium customers, our premium customers, Syarikat Otai franchise in Berhad. So my questions to Jian is that normally when you work as wastewater management, just now you showed us the pictures of that machine, right? We also have that machine, but we are not as big as Dindings. Dindings is much bigger than that. So what do you normally do with the cartridges, with the what called the carnage of the chicken afterwards, after the deboning and all the deboning and then filleting and then all the bloods, they are all running into the wastewater management, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So how do you separate between those two? I mean, like liquid waste as well as solid waste.
A very good question by Mr. Saif. Okay, so to be frank, when you do for this, we don't rely on ourselves. We go for the whole team, from production to up to facility management. So for my case, I'll give an example, okay? So, okay, when you have a chicken, you want to cut them, correct? You want to cut up. So you do have their bone, and you have their flesh, and you have their water that is dirty lah, correct? So what we do on that time, we will inform production workers to actually separate the meat. So for example, like they have extra meat, you just put it inside one of the bags, and that bag we will actually render it to become fish food. So this is actually a very common practice in my company, where we will do rendering, in a sense, like chicken blood, chicken bone, chicken feathers, chicken offals or organs. We do this to render and we sell as fish food for our company. So, okay, after having this, you have the little bits of the flesh maybe you are not able to take out when you're washing. So what happened is this, in our drainage system, we have a few screens. So during cleaning time, what they will do, they will remove all these materials before they enter wastewater. So the main reason why we don't allow them to enter wastewater, although wastewater have rotary screen, is because when the chicken flesh is being stuck at the drain, they are still a bit fresh, and you can still render them. But if you go up to wastewater there, it's going to be very dirty already. So nobody would want that, and we have to throw to the landfill. So when we throw to the landfill, it costs money to throw.
Yes.
Our perspective, as to be very frank, a Chinaman company, we want to reduce the cost as much as possible.
That is true.
That's from my perspective. That's why when we do all this processing, we have to engage with the production team. I know it's very difficult for you to throw, but if your drain clog, you are having more problem.
Yes.
Watch it, the drain clog. And the drain clog, you will take around 4 or 5 hours of breakdown. So after that, they realize they cannot do that, because the meat, sometimes they will clog in the drain.
Okay, good. I mean, your email is available, yeah? I'll try to email you, to exchange some few ideas, because our industry is a bit same industry. So maybe I can get more ideas from you on how to, sustainably manage our production lineup.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Saif. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good exchange. Next, I will have Chai Jun. Maybe you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, my question is, what is the technology that was, because just now you mentioned that ammonia is one of the waste that there's quite high amount in the agriculture industry. So I would like to know what's the current technology that was being used. And additionally to it, what I know about it's on a biological method. It's commonly being used to treat ammonia in wastewater. What about the usage of adsorption technology? Is it commonly being used, and how effective it is as compared to biological method? Yeah. Thank you.
So from what I get is that you are asking whether absorption technology is it good enough for like this kind of big production, correct? To be very frank, no, because let me just give you an example. My wastewater, it handle up to 7,000 meter cube per day wastewater. So when you have a volume that is very big, that is coming in 200 meter cube per hour, sometimes when absorption, they cannot react so fast. And at the same time, for us, when we go for this kind of cost control, normally when we do a technology or something like that, we have to explain to the management that the treatment of this is cheaper. That's why normally management will still opt for biological system, or although we have to add blowers in and aeration system all in, they would prefer that, because sometimes when you have adsorption, you use a lot of energy. So that's first, and the same time is not able to react so fast because the wastewater is a lot. The wastewater, one thing is also a lot is because production is in a high volume. So absorption, you need a place that is much bigger at the same time also lah, from what I understand from absorption. but that is in the wastewater processing side. But from the farmhouse side, ammonia problem is not in the water, it's as gas. Because what happens is that chickens, when they defecate and they have this kind of feces out, so this feces, they will release ammonia. So when ammonia is released, what happens is that this chicken, they will have their eyes like being burned. So when you have chickens being burned, the eyes, their health is deteriorate and they cannot gain the weight. So you have two problems from both sides. Of course, when absorption, maybe in the terms of current, is still very expensive for manufacturing line. And for us, we would like our water treatment to be less than 0.60 cents per meter cube. If we cannot achieve 60 cents per meter cube, normally your boss will ask you, can we just add water? Because water is only 60 cents per meter cube. So if your cost of treatment is much higher than that, they will say, I just add water, I don't want to go for treatment. So that's normally the current practice of Malaysia wastewater management lah.
Okay, thank you so much. Just to ask, what is, do you use biological method like denitrifications to? Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's it, right? Any more questions? I think probably will be hi Julian.
Hello, Jenai.
No?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Tai.
Oh, first of all, I'm very amazed. The chicken, they are living in such a comfortable condition.
Yes, they are living very comfortably.
Yeah, before they get slaughtered. And
yes.
then, also good job to you. Because
thank you.
Every day I eat chicken and I'm still a healthy man. Because I believe all the chicken I ate most probably is from your company one. Good job, good quality control.
Thank you so much.
I heard that last time from somebody your company pay you a good sum amount of money to hire you to help them solve certain kind of issues in the company that they are assisting employee that cannot solve it. Yeah, so I would like to hear about maybe more info, or do you mind to share how you solve that kind of problem? At that time, they hire you because they don't have the qualification or they don't have that certain knowledge to solve the certain issues. You told me, right?
To be very frank at that time my predecessor means my senior they are not able to manage it is because they are not able to cooperate with the production team at that time, and they didn't implement a good SOP like what I explained to Mr. Saif. Means from the production we reduce, not from the wastewater side. So one benefit I can tell you is that because you are a girl, when you go and negotiate or conflict management, normally they will listen to you. Because as a guy, when you are telling people, oh, you do wrong, for example, or Tai, you do wrong, then you will take into back. Or you say, oh, I don't know what this fella talking. But then when a girl approaches you and say, I need your help. I need your help to help this problem. So at that time, most of the production is like Malay men, old Malay men. So they would actually not only listen, they will try. So that was one of the issue. And at the same time, from our technology wise, we also added, so we have 2 extra projects coming in to actually improve the plant performance. We add chemical. At the same time, we also increase the capacity of the dewatering system to ensure that the bacteria can be dewatered fast enough. So you have from both sides. It's not a one-man show. You have help from everyone, from the production side to your facility side, and also at the same time from your wastewater side. So normally it's not a one-man show But thank you so much for the question, Mr. Tai.
Okay. So you are like the last puzzle
Yes, I'm the last puzzle.
Every problem solved already
No every day still have problem. That is why company employ you
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Tai. Thanks. I think we have one more question from Doris Chin. I think that will be last question before we move on to Jeffrey. Doris?
Hi, Jenai. I'm Doris.
Yes.
I want to ask you something about the biological treatment.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Biological treatment. At my plant, there here got one filtrate is we got post carbon. To your site using post carbon now?
Post carbon is activated carbon, is it?
Yeah, it's activated carbon.
Okay. For my side, when the production Q is high, we do use carbon. But to be very, very frank, carbon is very expensive. 1,000 metric ton is around 30,000 ringgit. So you are not able to explain to management for my site. So when I tell them when your production is high and my technology is not able to cope with it, I need to use carbon. Of course, carbon is a very good dosage to remove ammoniacal. The main one is actually to remove ammoniacal for carbon, correct, Doris?
But COD, is there any use of removal high efficiency or not for COD?
For our site, COD is not very high because in slaughtering plant, ammoniacal is the one that is abnormal normally because of the blood, the chicken blood, and also the marination and all. So normally we are more on the ammoniacal side. But of course, carbon COD we can maintain is by doing aeration tank and also the dissolved air flotation system. So these two actually help us to reduce carbon COD a lot. It's just that ammoniacal, because they take time for the bacteria to digest. So what they do is we dose the carbon earlier to ensure that the bacteria gets a lower dosage of ammoniacal to work on.
Okay, understand.
Okay, thank you.
One more.
Yep.
About the pump, you said you have to adapt with like the pump knowledge and like all those valve, right?
Yep.
Sure, we have to know in wastewater. So I want to ask at the beginning, how do you get this knowledge from, or like how you pick up so fastly?
Okay, from my side, what I did was I think one of the participants, Hong Fong, he asked about hands-on, right? So I was very hands-on when I haven't took over the plant. My senior was still the person in charge, but I was very hands-on. When the pump was under repair, I would help my technician together with the pump. And sometimes technician, they will teach you because they see you blur, right? They also scared, you repair wrong. That's the issue. So you have to be very hands-on. So you learn very fast after you hands-on.
Yeah, because I'm currently facing this problem now, so I feel like hands-on is very important. And like from online, I don't think we can learn more, right?
Online not much because you can't imagine it from online. But from hands-on you can do more. That is I think before this meeting we actually had a discussion among the speakers. So we also mentioned that actually we do lack this pump valve bearing knowledge during our studies. So I'm not sure whether in this group we have any lecturers, but if you know, right, if you know this thing much earlier, that is what differentiate you between engineers and also scientists. Because when you learn how to execute it, that's how you are the engineer.
Yeah, I also agree with that.
Okay.
I also agree very much. Okay, thank you then, Jenai.
No problem, thank you.
Yep, thanks a lot, Doris. That was a good sharing from Jenai.
Okay, thank you.
Due to time, I think we should move on to Jeffrey D. Thanks, Jenai. So I guess Jeffrey, it's your turn. The final one.
Okay. Okay, sure. Let me share my slides. Everyone can see my screen, is it? Everyone?
Yep, no problem.
Okay, just a quick introduction. I finished my degree in UTAR. Then I actually work some months in water and wastewater treatment companies. Then after that, I actually studied my master's at USM at the Center for Global Sustainable Studies. So it's still quite related to environment because it's my passion. Then I have the opportunity to work in this government agency. It is responsible for promoting and pushing various types of renewable energy in Malaysia. So it is called the Sustainable Energy Development Authority, SEDA Malaysia. I have the interest to work in the government sector because there is not much of a chance for us to really try to experience working in the government. So here are some doubts because like we receive a lot of how to say ideas or point of view about working in government is really relaxed, you know, so therefore there is no OT if you compare to private companies, and then it is very easy, you know, those tasks. So these are the doubts, but let me share my experience with you. It actually depends on who is your supervisor and what kind of agency that you are in. So this is a renewable energy development, so therefore it is a very, how to say, it is a very active agency because Malaysia, to be frank, the renewable energy is not so good during my time of work at SEDA back in 2018. So me myself, I'm actually the assistant deputy director for the feed-in tariff. So it is like what the previous speaker has been shared. It is more of a multitasking job, and of course it has to be more collaborative. So this is part of our work, is that we have to go down to the site and then we do the factory assembly and acceptance tests, because the diagram you see on your left, that is the biogas engine. It looks like a car engine, but it's much bigger because this has the capacity of up to 2 to 5 megawatt. This actually installed in what Lim Jun Hong's speaker just now mentioned about the palm oil mill biogas plant. So this engine is inside for it to convert into electricity. So what we do is we go down to the site and then we have to test the quality of the engine. Is it really as claimed what the suppliers say? And the picture on your right, you can see there are two 10 megawatt small hydro turbine. So this one is already installed somewhere in Pahang area. So we also have to go down to the site and then to inspect everything. Is it really proper? Because all these machineries, they will be lasting for between 2 years up to 10 years, especially for this small hydro. So this is one of my tasks. The second task is we have to liaise with the main contractor as well as the client to conduct the testing and commissioning of the energy system. Like the picture on the right, you can see this is a plant in Port Dickson. This is a biogas schedule waste to energy. So therefore, we as an authority, we have to spend 3 days on site just to really monitor the stability of the system. Is it really outputting that much of energy? Because these companies are selling electricity back to the TMB. So we have to ensure that they are the constant supplier for a stable electricity. And sometimes our job also requires us to conduct a surprise on-site inspection, because we have been granting a lot of projects throughout Malaysia, and most of the time is a lot of project client, they promise to finish their project on this date. However, sometimes when we go to the site, you can see like the picture on the left, it's a halfway done solar panel. So unfortunately, some of the cases we have to revoke their quota and we have to revoke their certificate. And since working in the government is dealing with more on the policies and also with the regulations, so there will be a lot of internal meeting and discussion, not only within ourselves and also with the stakeholders. So to get the most feedback as possible, to understand what are the industrial players as well as the commercial players are facing, what is the issue, and then what we as the Malaysian authority in pushing renewable energy can assist them. So, and we also engage with several international players because most of the time their technology is more matured than the local one. So they have also interest to invest this kind of renewable energy in Malaysia. That is why we also have to engage them as well. And we also held a town hall meeting before with YB, your being minister. That time she is the Minister of MESTEC. So it is a public engagement to understand what is the need and also what is the role of the public or the various industries to further promote the renewable energy in Malaysia. And sometimes we have to handle some very special issue like complaints regarding some of the on-site, let's say solar panel. This is one of the case where this granny complained about her durian dusun has been chopped down by some contractors because they wanted to pull the wire to their solar panel site. So we have to personally go down there and understand the situation and to resolve the issue as fast as possible. Yeah, so this is the, oh yeah, this one is the last one, is that any related government exhibition and industrial show, we also have to be involved. So we have to organize again, we have to organize a lot of meetings, a lot of discussion, and then we have to showcase what is the potential or what is the roadmap of Malaysia to achieve the 20% of renewable energy by 2030. That is my first part of my sharing. Then I will speak more on to my part as a waste to energy consultant at USM Holding. As I took my master's at USM, so I have the chance to become one of the waste to energy consultant at their own established company. So this is called UScience. Partly due to my master project is to propose the conversion of food waste or any organic waste from the landfill into usable biogas and biofertilizer. So my supervisor at the time, he is Dr. Sayuti. So he converted my thesis into a proposal and successfully being accepted by the Penang State Government and is currently funded by the Ministry of Finance. So just to share a few parts of what we are doing as a professional consultant to the state government. This is the overall chart. It is more on the first phase, which is the feasibility study. So we have to collect part of the food waste from the landfill and also from the household area, and then we do a laboratory characterization. After that, then we try to using some equation and then also some theoretical values to find out what is the environmental benefit, let's say in terms of the land reduction, because we are no longer throwing food waste into the landfill, and what is the reduction of the leachate being produced from the landfill, and also what is the CO2, the reduction of CO2 in terms of the air, because we are right now using the methane generated from the food waste to generate the electricity. So this is the overall diagram. Then currently we are actually proposing what is the return of investment of the entire system. So we also have to analyze and to draw out a full schematic diagram of the entire anaerobic digestion of the food waste to biogas and fertilizer, so that we can have a more accurate costing as well, to be more realistic before the real implementation. Yeah, so this is some of the team members, and I believe that's all for my presentation.
Yep, that's a good sharing, Jeffrey. Before I go into my questions, maybe if there are any questions from the audience. Okay, probably if there's haven't yet, probably I can ask first, because comparing you to the other speakers as well as myself, I can see your path, your career path is relatively different. you started off working for a private company, Connect Resources, which we have worked before together during my intern. Then after that, you went to master. After you graduated from degree, you went to master. Then after that, you went to SEDA. Then I believe you are now in PhD, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, what makes you choose this path is quite different from the general ones, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the question. Especially for the juniors. You can see my path is like trying various kind of things. So what actually triggers me is that I'm still finding what I really like to do. I mean, I have a general sense of what I want to do already. Just that I just wanted to experience different fields and then to see which one ultimately is my personal preference and then is my strength in it. So I will be going down with it. And for your information, since I have been working with SEDA, which is the government side, that is what triggers me to continue my PhD, because I realized that a lot of policies, a lot of all these regulation makings, if you, without a title, let's say doctor grade or IR or some Datuk Seri, Tan Sri, your position in the government will be usually low and no one will listen to you. So this is part of my strategy to maybe in future, I'm not sure, to maybe re-enter back to SEDA or to some other environmental related agency to help to implement a more proper policy, because one thing in Malaysia is we have very beautiful policy, we have very beautiful regulations, but the implementation is not there. So I actually wanted to improve on that. Yeah, so let's see how it goes. And yes, currently I'm doing my PhD, and it is one of the pathway to strengthen my own knowledge and personality and also skill, which is a stepping stone for me to continue with my next challenges. Yeah, thank you.
Interesting. We have one question from Ms. Chai Jun.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe can unmute. Yeah.
Hi Jeffrey.
Hi. Yes.
Just to ask, I was involved in the field of biogas previously in a competition under a company as well. From what I know, the most challenging part in this field is actually the segregation. I'm not too sure whether did you actually carry out the experimental work to actually see that whether is it feasible to actually apply it into the real life. Wanted to know whether or not will this thing be really feasible in real life, means being able to implement into Malaysia's current waste management in terms of the food waste. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I have been asking this question also during our proposal. Penang currently is very active in imposing the waste segregation. Their government, their state government is not a federal one. Their state government actually already allocated another type of garbage bin for them just to dispose their organic waste. However, due to the Malaysian culture, at first it's still needed to be done in order to ensure most of the population can actually be more disciplined in terms of this waste segregation. Yes, you are right. This project actually is very challenging at the source of separation, which is the waste segregation. We have a team at UScience already is actually approaching to the government, to the Penang state government, to further fine-tune the policy. Because yes, there is some waste segregation. However, we can still see that not many people are still complying. So we are still working on that. And if this can be done right, actually it can save up a lot of upfront costs in terms of we have to purchase the pre-treatment machine, is to like separate the organic waste with the non-organic waste, so on and so forth. And for your information, our calculation of the return of investment actually have considered the upfront costs. And a worst case scenario, if Malaysia still persists in not segregating their organic waste, the project return of investment will be around, I would say 8 to 10 years. So that is that long. But if we do proper waste segregation by creating awareness and also by some showing some real example to the citizens, then the return of investment will be very short. It is around 3 years, and the biogas system, the feed-in tariff is 21 years. So I can say it is still a feasible project, but nobody has been done this comprehensive study in Malaysia before. So this is the first time that we are embarking on this road to see is it really possible to implement such system, because in China, in Japan, in various other countries, they are actually already implemented. But just that due to what you mentioned just now about the mentality of the people here, it is still very difficult because it actually costs a lot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hi, Junior.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for presentation. So my
Yeah.
question is, post-UTAR, like us, we do not know much about working in government.
Yeah.
Let me give you a situation now. If I were to work in my hometown in Ipoh, let's say, and then I want to work as a position in our field, I mean EV. So what kind of position can we go? I don't think that Ipoh, they have a branch for this data.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, definitely. You need someone that you know inside the government agency in order for you to get that job listing, or else it will be very difficult. As in Malaysia scenario. So for Ipoh one, I have tried the water and wastewater company, but not really sure about others. But I believe there are some vacancies, but definitely is very hard to get into the government unless you really know somebody inside or have the connection inside.
Okay, thank you. And then how much is the expected salary for fresh grade if you can decide to government job?
Okay,
you mean in
okay.
government or in a private?
Government, not private.
Government fresh grad. It still depends on area to area though. Just like what the private companies are offering. However, maybe like 3,000, and currently they are prefer higher qualification like masters or PhD to enter into the government. I'm not sure why they are doing so, but that is the last situation that I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Thanks, Mr. Lai. So I think we have another query, right? Maybe need to unmute. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Safi.
Hi.
Hi
Yes.
Jeff.
Safi.
Yes, hi Safi. Yes.
This is actually not a question lah. I'm not sure whether I can share or not, but
Yeah, sure.
Let's say since I believe that most of you guys are undergrads, right? This is juniors, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, some of them are juniors, some are seniors.
All right, okay. When we talk about just now, when who is asking just now? Tai Jun.
Mr. Tai, correct.
Right, okay. Tai Jun asking about working in the government sector. I've been working in the government sector as in contract as a special officer to the Minister of International Trade and Industry. Yes, it is true. It's hard for you to go to the government. Yes, it's hard. Not just for Chinese, but for most of the races in Malaysia. Because one thing, what we see is government sectors. I'm not sure whether there are lots of government people here or not, but let's say working in government sectors requires a lot of back channel connections, cronies lah basically. So this is how you get to enter very easily. I have the chance after I graduated from my bachelor. I had the chance because I know the minister personally. Hence, I got to work with him. for 2 years, and then I resigned because I cannot stand the politics. I cannot stand the politics, and I resigned lah. So I believe that yes, if you work in the government area, the salary is around 2,000 to 3,000 if you are fresh grads. But currently, if you have masters and you have your PhD, you are in much better position to apply. So try to get your masters. I don't think it's that hard. You can go to MSDP like me and Jeff. Only 2 years we can finish. So try to get your masters, and then get into the government sector using your masters is much more easier than your bachelor's degree. And another thing is, working in the government, like what Jeff said, if you do not have enough credit, such as your title or whatsoever, people will not listen to you. Because people's there thinking that they have the authority, they have the decision-making point, hence they're neglecting your ideas. But your ideas is much better than what they are. This is what we call egoistics of the government sector. So, but it's good working in the government sector. I have a lot of my friends who are also Chinese who are working in the government sector, and they are happy. But again, if you try to find something that you really into, and then you want to make money in process, private sector is the best. You can try to have a lot of experience. You guys can contact me also. I give my email to my personal email to Jeff. Let's say if you have any private sectors that you want, I try to find it, or I have some connections in the government that you guys can go into also. So this again, I would like to say career wise, there are lots of, let's say, Mr. Klinsmans are now working in the solar industry. So not necessarily you are working. I am a hydrologist as well as a water science expert.
Right.
But then I work in a different sector, totally different sector.
Right.
Got nothing to do with my expertise at all. And then, like what Jeff said, I also continue my PhD in moving forward, because I believe that title of doctors will give you more credit in your working environment now, basically. But do not feel anxious about getting a job. There are a lot of jobs out there, because nowadays Malaysia is experiencing 800,000 to 900,000 of people not working. So we can still do it. I drop my email if you guys got any questions. Just part of my sharing. I do not meant to impose, but I feel like you guys are sharing about career wise and career path. So I feel like I just want to give some ideas. Yeah. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Very interesting sharing. I mean, like, this is the real working life that a lot of our juniors or some even our seniors are going through, even myself. So I guess the advice would be, don't stop learning, just continue. Like what we all say, we might study from EV, but ended up we are at different fields. So if degree is just an early stepping stone, I would say lah. So it doesn't limit you just because you're studying EV and that's all in your future, So it gives you a lot of opportunities in the future, right? So I guess, Jeffrey, do you have anything do you want to say first before I pass on to Siu Yong about your company or anything you want to say?
Yes, but it's more of a life experience in terms of decision making. Because I know that some of you, after finishing degree, that maybe it's a hard choice to make. Maybe whether wanted to work in the industry, work in the government, or maybe pursue further studies like master or PhD. When you make the decision, just you have to clear your mind and make sure that you are not emotional when you make such important decision. Because this actually occurs to me also. But after you make the decision, you have to go with it. You cannot regret about it, because that is your decision, utmost. Yeah. And what else is part of the reason for me, besides that doctor title, doing PhD actually is also my interest in waste to energy. Because I see this potential, because in nature there is nothing called waste. So I'm just trying my very best as a human out of the 7.8 billion. Yeah, just trying to make this world more sustainable to live for everyone. Yeah, so that is also part of my interest. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good, very good. I mean, I can say one thing is that I guess having Dr. Tan Sri, all these are good, but I guess the respect to everyone must be there, like, you know, like the ideas people share, despite like listening to what you guys sharing about governmental side, there's the problem about respecting, you know, this because you have doctor, you listen, you are not doctor, that people don't listen. I think that's what the weaknesses we have in Malaysia, that we should really have a different mindset, especially for ourselves at this young age, because we're still not going to be the, I mean, that level of replacing all the old ones that are up there now currently. So we should be the one making a change on that, you know. Don't look down on people that doesn't have doctorates or even degrees, you know. They can contribute a lot. You can see some billions there, not even from degrees as well. So yeah.
That's very well put. I believe that is the reason. I mean, respect, despite ages or whatsoever, everyone should respect each other.
Right.
For me, the best way, the best methodology. But unfortunately, our mindset at the moment, I'm saying about all the 90 or 80% of Malaysian, not all of them, not all of them.
Correct.
They are having this mindset, like what Jeff said earlier regarding waste segregation. We have the place to do segregation, but when I was in Japan, what happened there is those people, their people mindset was totally different from us, because respect not just for in human being but nature also. So that's why you guys are in environmental engineering, in a way that you wanted to do something about the environment, hence you respect the environment. Same goes to work environment also. When we work in work environment, we should respect each other. But then, of course, like what Klinsmann said just now, in Malaysia, we have this, like when people degrade you not because of the title and so on, but we have ideas. So we are young and we have new ideas, and these new ideas should be implemented also, and should be taken into consideration, not just saying, no, I do not want to listen to your ideas. That is a bad start now. So I hope that since we are all here in matter of pursuing knowledge in this session today, I hope that all of us have this beautiful mindset in respecting each other and keep on pursuing knowledge and keep on trying, because that's what we should do. All right, thank you very much, Jeffrey and all, for inviting me. But I had to go out early because I got some stuff to do.
Okay, thank you,
Let's keep in touch. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch. I let Jeffrey know in my email to all of you. So thank you very much for inviting me, although I'm an outsider from Utah.
It's okay.
Thank you very much. I really love knowledge sharing sessions, and if you guys have another knowledge sharing session, you are more than welcome to invite me. Thank you very much again. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you,
Sophie. I'll catch you all later. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you. Thank you for the input.
Yeah, thank you. Probably before we end, we have some short, some sharing from just a short one. Whether you want to talk to your juniors or what, like we start from Siu Yong first. Maybe do you have anything to, before we end it, you have something to share?
Just some sharings for the continuous study, further study for master or even to doctorate. I think for now, if you all are looking for the opportunity to go to continue further study, to continue to do master and so on, I think you can. I think there's a will, there's a way. I think there are a few other course or program from private U or from public U that are actually the structure of the course are quite well designed to fit into those working adult schedule. So maybe the classes will for example, for my I just completed my master with Summer University, and the structure of the course schedule is actually very suitable for working adults, because those courses only conduct during the weekend, and if you put in enough effort, it's actually very eye-opening, and you work with a lot of people from different fields that are interested in sustainability. And for those junior, maybe they haven't decided yet, or maybe they are still not sure what kind of field they are going into, for example, wastewater, for example, solar, renewable energy, or some other sectors. It's a good platform for you to expose to different fields and expose to more different informations, and you can actually help, it can actually help with your decision making. Yeah, this is a good way to for those who are still in the path of searching for future directions. Yeah, and I think the last, I will wrap it up as for those just graduated, I know it's not easy to secure a job in this kind of market right now, but eventually there will be an opportunity to present to you. So you just have to keep prepare yourself, because we are in an era of we have a lot of information available to us. Be prepared for yourself, for the interviews, for your CV, and for even to start the job immediately. So you just keep yourself prepared, and don't lose hope. Even is COVID is a pandemic time, and it's not a very good market for everyone, but there is opportunity out there for you to grab it. So don't lose hope.
Yep. Good advice. Thanks to you. Junhong, maybe yourself.
Hello. So
Yep, can hear you.
since this sharing section for all the fresh grade and job seeker, I would say no harm trying to send your resume to all the company, even though maybe your qualification or your requirement, you do not fit that requirement, and try to follow up, get in touch with the recruiter so that they can remember you, and try to secure an interview with them, because you can get an idea of what the industry like or the company is. That's how you get more insight and also more knowledge into a certain industry. Even though you don't know what you are searching for, they might give you an idea. So that's all for my sharing.
Yeah, thanks, Junhong. Can I anything from your side?
From my side, actually, I would like to explain that even though you are a girl, you can still secure a job as engineer. Because to be very, very frank, whenever DOE come, or whenever you have issue with a lot of suppliers or anything, they don't normally send men out for negotiation. They will send girls out. Because when they see it's amoy or younger, right, then they will their shield will be not so high up lah. So don't think that, oh, because I'm not available for this project position, I cannot do. You can go for others actually, because sometimes they don't allow you to go in. It's because they scared for your safety. It's not that they try to limit us lah, in what I believe lah, because they also still need us, and especially in all the audits document and everything, they also would find girls to help with all this lah, and the management everything. So from my perspective is that even though you're a girl, as long as you show that you are very willing for hands-on, right, they are surprised, and normally they will let you. For example, like one of my things is the chicken, right? Do you know how we test chicken comfort? When the chicken steps on this rice husk, right, you have to pick up with your own hand, and not everyone is willing to pick up rice husk with chicken shit on it, you know. So if you can do that, they will be like, wow, this girl can do it. So the what I call that, you know, you impress people faster if you are hands-on, especially. And like for me, hands-on, the pump is all you will be filled with chicken feathers and all this. You know, the smell is sometimes unbearable. I have to bathe twice sometimes because I came back, oh my god, the smell is terrible. But you know, as environmental engineer, you cannot get dirty lah. That is view. You can, like, for example, if you go to Jeffrey's field, food waste, I believe it's very, very smelly. So
definitely.
you need to, adjust yourself. It's the smell, because not all engineers, especially from different field, mechanical, electrical, they will be shocked. I say, I'm not going to work in this kind of environment. That's where you can shine. You say, I'm environmental engineer, I can work in this kind of environment, and you should hire me. So whenever you go for interview and all, right, the main part is, although you have no experience, but the main part is I'm willing to learn. If you are willing to learn, they will not. And to be frank, at my age, right, I told to them, my record once only when I'm working, was 25 hours working non-stop. I think Wei Han, if it's inside, he was one of my supplier. He know I'm very, very busy. Sometimes call me, I cannot get me one. So yeah. So because you're young now, you can take on to this role. And because you're young, you can do mistakes. It's better you do mistake on an executive level than when you are a manager level and all, you start doing mistake. That will cause much more issue. So we cannot be afraid to do mistakes. Like, for example, if your boss asks you, then you say, no, wait. Let me think. Sometimes the issue, because you think too long, you cannot proceed. So this is from operation view. You just do first. If it's wrong, you just, take over have a solution. Like I also explained to Thai.
They're responsible for the problems.
Everyone, companies employ you to solve problem.
Correct.
Okay. So you are memang have problem one. You not say, oh, I don't have problem, or this job I have too much problem, I need to cabut. No. Normally all companies will have employees because to solve their issue.
Yes, true, even with PhD also, because I'm solving a new kind of issue. It's the same.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's all from me. Thank you, Klinsmann.
All right. Thanks. So, Jeffrey, I guess you have any more to add on, or I can conclude everything one shot?
Yeah, just the last one is that don't forget, humans are always part of nature, because most of the time we always like separate ourselves, human is human, then nature is nature. If you look back in many thousands of years, we are living in nature, so we are part of nature. So just don't feel separated, and also don't forget, when you are in higher position, actually we have more responsible. So no matter in whatever position, let's say you are a senior executive or senior engineer, then your responsible is actually bigger. Yeah, so you have to be more mindful and also more cautious about your every decision that you make, because it actually have a bigger influence on that. Yeah, so that's all from me.
Yeah, I guess before we end this session, I guess what I would have my last word is that looking at some of us who's been working for a few years and some have different career paths, so you can say that there's no right way or right career path. It's about yourself, the decision you make, and also that what you want. Sometimes you may not get what you want now, but it might be later or in a different path or different way. So I guess what I can say is don't give up. There's always a way to solve a problem. There's definitely a way. It's just that you cannot just think of one solution. That's it. There's always another way to everything. And don't limit yourself, basically. Don't always think that this is only my thing. The others, I don't care. Sometimes the more you learn, actually, the more you can be, be more experienced in things and then know more things. So it might end up different paths. We have a lot of people sharing, they have been going different paths. I myself from green building to solar. So sky is the limit, basically. So be open-minded to things for juniors, just submit your resume, go for interviews. It may not be suitable, but at least you learn something from the interview. All right. So be open-minded, and yeah, that will be your direction, a good path for your future. All right. Even for those ongoing career paths, still working, also can do the same. So yeah, it applies to all, basically. Right. So I guess that would be my conclusion. So Jeffrey, probably you want to do closing from your side?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you everyone for joining. And if you have any feedback, you can voice out now so that we can have a further improvement on the next session. Anyone have the feedback on maybe like what to improve in this kind of section? Is it engaging enough, or is the time management is okay? How is the flow?
Or you think we need more of this kind of sharing?
Yeah, yes.
To us.
Yeah. Like you guys can contact me.
All right. All right. So I guess if anyone got any last questions before we,
Yeah.
thanks, no problem. Yeah, if anyone got any question, can ask before we off. If there is.
Yeah.
If no, then yeah.
Okay, then.
That's
Thank
it,
you,
I guess. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hope this session really benefit you all. Yeah.
Feel free to contact us. Yep.
Yes.